We'll get started. First question, Mark Berman.
Hey, Stephen, can you give us an update on anything new with James Harden and PJ Tucker?
There's supposed to be a practice tomorrow, as far as I know. So I haven't heard anything to the contrary. So we'll see those guys when we practice tomorrow.
Obvious question, how important is it to get them back?
It's very important. I mean, you want to have your whole team. It's a shortened schedule. We're playing a real game in 10 days. So to have those guys back, it will be important just so they can get on the same page as everybody else.
Kelly Eco.
Hey, Coach, after the first game, you said that going over the film would show you kind of stuff to clean up for game two. What did you see on the film with John Wall on the offense that you guys ran?
He was really good. I mean, we need to continue to be spaced well so he can attack gaps and play to his strengths. He did a very good job of organizing us on both ends of the floor, and his pursuit defensively was better than I had actually watched during the game. Watching the film, he really gets after it, but when he gets screened or picked off, he stays in the play and makes them either pass over him or shoot over him. So I was encouraged by watching the film. There's still, like you said, there's a few things we need to clean up just coverage-wise and new stuff-wise, but overall, good effort.
Jonathan Fagan.
Hi. What's the plan with your starters and their minutes tonight? And in general, to ramp up your regulars to the minutes that you will want them to play, is that something you do in these preseason games, in the practices, or both? Yeah,
it's kind of a mixture of both because we have these 4 games and playing every other day, and then we have that stretch. I think it's like 4 days or 5 days before our first game. So being smart about how many minutes each guy is going to get tonight. Our starters will get just a few more minutes than they got first game, and as you said, we're going to ramp it up as we're going along. But that stretch between our last preseason game and our first regular season game, we'll have to do quite a bit to get everybody ready to play in game one.
Same starters, same rotation?
Same starters, same rotation.
Thank you.
Christos Saltis.
Hello, Coach.
Hello.
I would like to ask you, what do you expect to see from tonight's game, and could you expect more minutes for players like Martin or Thomas or Grant?
I would love to play those guys a little bit more, but it really is about kind of firming out the rotation going forward. As far as the like the previous question alluded to, we have to get these guys ready to play more minutes each game. So that means more minutes for the starters, means less minutes for some of those younger guys. So as much as I'd like to get those guys more minutes on the floor and more opportunity, it really is in this shortened period. It really is about making sure that the guys who are going to be in the rotation are getting the minutes that they need to ramp up as we approach the first game.
Thank you.
Adam Spolin.
Stephen, you said on Friday that you called more plays than I think you wanted to. Just how do you determine within a possession when you kind of let a possession go or when you have to take control of it?
It really is based on the defense. So if the defense is not necessarily set and we've gotten the ball up the floor quickly, then I'd rather not make a play call. But if the defense is back and set, that's when the play calls come into play. So it really does matter what the pace of the game is as far as how many play calls I make and how many I don't. There was a stretch of the game last game where I just tried to get the guys to play a little bit more random and a few less play calls. And we had some good possessions, but they're just not comfortable with it right now. So at this point of the season, when you're running specific plays and there's specific cuts or screens that a guy has to make, it's a little bit easier. But when you're just kind of reading and reacting, it's a little bit harder to grasp this early. So tonight, hopefully we get a little bit more random, a few less play calls, and we'll just progress that way.
Ali Khan Bajani.
Hey, Stephen. So along those same lines, after Friday's game, you mentioned that you called more plays. So you do want to play 5 out and have a random flowing offense. But to do that, are players relying more on actual plays, or is it an offensive structure and setup that they have to go based off of?
A little bit of both. I mean, we're even in our play calling, we try to stay 5 out and try to at least, if we don't start 5 out, end up 5 out. But you know, if we're getting the ball up quickly and we're attacking before the defense is set, then we can get to our 5 out quicker and more random and a little bit less predictable, a little bit harder to guard.
Simon Ali.
Hey, Coach. You said John Wall looked better defensively than you remember when you watched the film back. I know it's only one preseason game, but were you surprised how good he looked in general, considering he's been out for almost 2 years?
Yeah. I mean, he, like you said, he's been out for 2 years and he stepped right in there and had a good game. Now it's time to build on that. And you know, we shouldn't expect him to have games like that every single game, I don't think, but maybe it's possible. Maybe he's at the point where he can sustain it, but it was a very good start. I'm loving him as a person. I'm loving him as a leader. I'm loving him as a basketball player. So we'll just keep it rolling for him. And then as the season comes, we'll really get a chance to see, but it's definitely a great start.
Jonathan Fagan.
The schedule this week, playing the same team twice and then another team twice, is going to be much more frequent in the regular season. How do you see that playing out?
Well, there's a few things to it. There's the preparation part, which is making adjustments, kind of like playoffs, you know. So we played Chicago on Friday and we play them tonight, and they're going to make adjustments and we're going to make adjustments, and you can kind of lock into the details and the game plan when you play a team twice a little bit more than regular kind of scheduling where you don't get to see a team so close together. So the game planning is a little bit easier, I would say. For the players, the familiarity of tonight, what they're going to see and who they're playing against is a little bit easier for them. But you know, they're going to be taking, we made 24 threes last game. So they're going to be trying to take away our three, and it's going to be up to us to make the adjustments and play that little chess game. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes, but it kind of has that playoff feel where you're making adjustments from game to game and trying to play that cat and mouse.
Thank you.
Kim Davis.
Hey, Coach, since it is such a short preseason and in this progression of ramping up to get ready for the start in about less than 10 days, what do you want to see tonight? What's important for you tonight?
Improvement. I mean, in many ways, defensively, I'd like to see better communication amongst our players, better effort on the glass as far as boxing them out and not allowing them second possessions. I thought there was a few, you know how it is, early in preseason, there's fouls, and that's just part of it. So we fouled way too much last game. So improvement in the foul department would be good. And I talked to the guys about valuing possessions, and a lot of time when you're talking about valuing possessions, it's on the offensive side. But for us tonight, it's going to be valuing possessions on the defensive side, where we are doing a good job with our closeouts, doing a good job with our schemes and our coverages, but finishing the play properly, not with a foul, not with an offensive rebound.
Thank you.
Darnell Mayberry.
Stephen, first off, a belated.
I think you're muted.
Thought I hit the button. My bad.
There he is.
First off, a belated congratulations on getting the job in Houston. But if I'm not mistaken, you're welcome. You were one of the guys who interviewed here in Chicago, reportedly. I'm just curious, what did you learn about Arturas Karnisovas and Mark Eversley and the new leadership here in Chicago and the direction that they're going?
I had a great meeting with those guys. It was tough because I was in the bubble. It was via Zoom. So it's kind of hard to, as you can see right here, like it's hard to connect and really get a feel for people and eye contact and the little cues that you get when you're sitting face to face with somebody. But the plan that they had, the questions that they had were really good. It seems like they're very organized and have a have a plan in place as to how they want to do things here. And I really enjoyed my time on the Zoom call with those guys. And I think they made a great choice in Billy. Billy's a really good coach, and hopefully we'll get him tonight. But I'm cheering for those guys because they were good to me in the interview process, and they're great.
Thank you.
And last question, Mark Berman.
Stephen, DeMarcus in particular has talked about how positive everything's been, the enthusiasm, energy, preaching unity and team. How have you managed to make that be the case, given all the noise outside the team surrounding it?
That's just me. I'm a positive person. I try to look at things in a way that will make players feel good about what's going on. I try to be super organized and on top of every detail so they know that they are in a position to succeed, and I'm doing my best to put them in those positions. But in general, I really just look at the positive side of things, and I look at these opportunities as opportunities for growth, or for DeMarcus and John, an opportunity to show the world that they're back and stuff like that. So my goal will always be to have a positive outlook on what's going on, regardless of what's going on outside of what is in the locker room.
What'd your dad have to say to you after your first game as coach?
He has a saying. He says, good things happen when you least expect. And I was, as we were kind of going through the process of me interviewing for jobs and not getting them and that sort of thing. And now finally, actually, there was a time when I came here to Chicago. I didn't have a job, and they had pre-draft here, and I came and drove in and was just trying to see GMs or see coaches and trying to find a job, basically. And it worked out at that point. But, there was a time where I didn't think I was going to be a head coach. And so he was always the one, like, good things happen when you least expect. So he said that after last game. It was awesome.
Thank you, Coach. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.